What's going on, you guys? This is Mo with another episode of Wheels and Paws. Today's a big day. I'm taking the Civic apart. We're sending the axles out to DSS. I've sent out the manifold to Speed Factory. It was cracking on me, so they're gonna re-weld it. I'm getting new brakes from Wellwood. I'm putting better coilovers. So just a little bit of changes, not too dramatic, but it's gonna be for the better. Want you to check it out. So as you can see, this stud is already broken right there. These two were stuck inside, so I drilled them out, removed them. It's leaking a little bit right there, leaking a little bit right there. So we're gonna get the studs replaced, get the manifold welded. As you can see here, this is torn, so we're gonna get this rebuilt by DSS, repacked. These coilovers are gonna get replaced with some skunk 2s. We're gonna get some better brakes. As you can see, these are pretty heat warped, and it'll be all good. So I want you guys to hit that like and subscribe button, follow me for more, and let's take this apart. First, we're gonna have to remove the axles. Now we remove the lower ball joint, and this will completely free up the arm. We're gonna need to get the ball joint separator, because if you see here, we have to separate that. So with this special tool right here, it's called the ball joint separator. You slide it right under. I use the nut on there so you don't round out the end of the bolt. But I slide right under, and I put that guy right in there. And then I use this. There it goes. So now, this is all freed up. All right, so now that I got the key and I've separated the bolt, I can pull it up. And I separate the axle from the disc. The axle and the disc is separated. Now I gotta remove the lower bolt, drop the arm, and then I can pull the axle out. So now everything is removed, the bolt, I can go back there and then I can knock that axle out using my punch and the hammer. Just like that. Just like that, the axle's out. So now let's do the other side and remove it. See, this one is completely torn. So we're gonna have to get it repacked, rebooted, clean all that grease up. I'm thinking about just putting some stock axles in here just for now until I start racing again, and then I can put these big boys in. These are the DSS 5.9s. They're good for 1,000 horsepower. So on this side it's the same thing, but the axle goes in the transmission. So when we pull the axle out, the transmission's gonna leak some fluid. So what I did was I got my little drain pan to catch any oil that might fall out. Okay, now let's remove this axle. Separator on this side too. Alright, so I popped the ball joint off, everything is good. So now I can go ahead and remove the axle and remove the lower control arm. Just like that, axle's out. Okay, so now I go under there with my hammer and my punch. See, and it's instantly leaking transmission fluid. And there you guys have it. Axle is out. Now, as you can see, this boot is also ripped and we need to reboot it, re-grease it. As you can see, it's leaking, which is fine. That's why we got the pan there. Alright guys, so we're all cleaned up. We got the axles in the box, ready to ship. So we're gonna send it out to DSS. We're going to send them out to DSS to get repacked, rebooted, and when we get the axles back, if I haven't already made the decision to put the stock axles and stock hub, then we'll keep them on the sideline for when we go racing. But for now, I'm going to keep tearing the car down, get the coils out, get ready for the new coils, wait for the manifold to come back, figure out what I'm going to do with the axles. All the parts showed up right here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to unbox everything. Got it for the Civic that I needed. I'm going to show you guys all the parts, and we're going to take the transmission out. We're going to rebuild the transmission, and we're going to put it back into the car. Put the manifold, put the new studs, the axles are out. They're gonna be back in the next few days. So it's coming along very nicely, just as predicted. So as you can see, I got all the parts lined up, and here's a box where I'm going to lay everything out. So I want you guys to watch me unbox all these parts, and I'll explain to you what it is I got and why I got it. Let's go. This one I'm almost guessing is going to be the turbo manifold gasket. So obviously it's a gasket. When you remove the old one, you got to put the new one in. So yep, just as I predicted. New T3, T4 flange gasket. So that's going to be something we absolutely need. So that's one part down. So this box has an alternator. So we're gonna use this. I got the 150 amps, so we could put more juice into the car. I was running 140 amps and it was working just fine. But with just 10 more amps, I feel like it's gonna give the car more spark, more voltage, and that way we can get the power we want out of it reliably without having to do a 16-volt battery and have to charge it in between rounds. So if you were paying attention earlier, I said I was gonna get Wilwood brakes. However, when I went to go get the Wilwood brakes, I discovered that the calipers and the rotors are gonna be too big. So I won't be able to use my slicks with that setup. So what I did decide to do is get my own drilled and slotted rotors, and I got Hawk pads, which I'll show you here in one of these boxes, and I'm gonna be able to use my slicks with this setup as well. There you have it. There's my Hawk pads. This is gonna be a very good pair with the rotors that I got. As you can see here, got my manifold back. It's been all re-welded by Speed Factory, so that's nice of them to do. They took care of me on it, so I'm gonna put it back in the car now, and that's why I got the T3, T4 flange, so I can put it here. They sent me a little crew neck action. I got the studs that I needed for the head. Some little dope stickers. Shout out to Speed Factory. box is, last box right here. Parts from Synchrotech for the transmission. Little lanyard. So I got all new gears and synchros. All new stuff. So you guys are gonna watch me rebuild this whole transmission. This is the master rebuild kit, along with the gears, all of the bearings. Got the sliders and the hubs, more goodies. So there you have it, guys. You got pretty much everything lined up right here. I'm gonna move the turbo, the wastegate, the pipes, some of these old parts that I have laying around. I'm gonna put everything on the cardboard for the sole reason that I need the table to rebuild the transmission. Alright guys, there you have it. There's your pads, there's your alternator, T3, T4 flange, new rotors, studs for the head, manifold, new gears, synchros, bearings, up pipe, down pipe with wastegate, the turbo, spindles for stock axles, and a bunch of miscellaneous parts that I have. Now that the table is clear, we could take this thing apart, remove the transmission, get it on here, and start to rebuild it.